We got them. On April 5, 2026, Day 37 of Operation Epic Fury U.S. Special Forces rescued the second crew member of the F-15E fighter jet that was shot down over Iran. Saturday's operation was conducted by a specialized commando unit. With a high volume of air cover, the U.S. forces unleashed a hail of heavy fire, and that all of the forces are now out of Iran. This wasn't just some easy pickup, though. This happened right in the heart of the incredibly rugged Zagros Mountains in southwestern Iran in the Kandahar and Bakhtari province near Dehdasht. We're talking steep, jagged ridge lines topping over 7,000 feet deep, rocky valleys, loose shell slopes, and unforgiving high-altitude terrain that's perfect for hiding but absolutely hell for moving fast, especially when you're injured and being hunted by the IRGC. This video will recount the actual rescue operation of the F-15E WSO, and President Trump posted this. He said, "We got him. My fellow Americans, over the past several hours, the United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history for one of our incredible crew member officers who also happens to be a highly respected colonel and who, I am thrilled to let you know, is now safe and sound. This brave warrior was behind enemy lines in treacherous mountains of Iran, being hunted down by our enemies who were getting closer and closer by the hour. But he was never truly alone because of his Commander-in-Chief, Secretary of War, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and fellow war fighters were monitoring his location 24 hours a day and diligently planning for his rescue. But the IRGC wanted to get him first. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps was searching the entire area, including using their elite units and local militias. They swarmed the Black Mountain area with everything they had. Villagers were even offered big cash rewards by Tran to join the hunt and turn in the American for a major propaganda win for Iran. But America answered the call with overwhelming force. Elite special operations teams, including Air Force Special Warfare PAR, rescue men, the legendary PJs, so that others may live is their motto, and Naval Special Warfare Development Group operators were on the ground as well. Integrated team of special operators making it happen. Likely Delta Force could have been involved. Army Rangers, Green Berets, and then backed by the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, also known as the Night Stalkers. They fly the MH-6, the AH-6, Little Birds for lightning-fast insertions, fire support, HH-60W Jolly Green helicopters for heavy combat, rescue airlift, and A-10 Thunderbolt IIs overhead for brutal close air support. And this video right here is said to be the actual final firefight. This is the final scene, with likely A-10s rolling in, striking down some of these combatants that are trying to get to the F-15E WSO before U.S. forces. A massive firefight took place. MQ-9 Reaper drones were overhead. And speaking of MQ-9 Reapers, this report just came in. U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drones protected the rescued F-15 crew member by striking Iranian military-aged males believed to be a threat who got within 3 kilometers of the airman. Person familiar with the operation told Air and Space Forces magazine this exact quote. MC-130J Commando 2 transports slipped into austere strips deep behind enemy lines, and likely even F-15E fighters going out to protect their member of their squadron, plus A-10s, F-35s, other birds up ahead, providing air cover and jamming Iranian systems and signals and communications from Tran to the IRGC. And President Trump also said this. He said, "We have rescued the seriously wounded and really brave F-15 crew member officer from deep inside the mountains of Iran. The Iranian military was looking hard in big numbers and getting close. He is a highly respected colonel. This type of raid is seldom attempted because of the danger to man and equipment. It just doesn't happen. The second raid came after the first one, where we rescued the pilot in broad daylight. Also unusual, spending several hours over Iran. An amazing show of bravery and talent by all. This was one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history, and it reminds the world that the U.S. will never leave an American war fighter behind. No, Americans were killed in the operation. The WSO injured but safe, and U.S. forces proved total dominance. Today we're walking through every fact that we know, and the full story of how this daring rescue operation culminated in the safe rescue of this weapon systems operator. But it did culminate in one of the biggest firefights during a rescue operation in U.S. history, and this going down is going to change everything that we've heard about U.S. Special Operations versus the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So it all started April 3, 2026, when that F-15E Strike Eagle was taken down by Iranian fire over the Zagros Mountains near Dehdasht. Wreckage photos surfaced fast as Iranian forces claimed the kill of the shoot own. Both the pilot and the highly respected colonel ejected safely, but they were separated on the ground. They ejected at altitude so the winds can change the trajectory of those parachutes. They could land a mile or two away. The pilot was rescued the next day in an initial SEAR push, but the HH-60W Jolly Green helicopters that got the pilot took incoming fire and were damaged severely. Even crew members on those helicopters were wounded, but they made it back to base safely. U.S. officials stayed quiet on the second rescue to protect the colonel while he was evading. Meanwhile, IRGC units behind the scenes and locals around the Black Mountain were actively hunting the colonel with bounties on his head of $60,000, turning the entire region into a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. U.S. intelligence, including CIA assets, kept constant eyes on the colonel weapons systems officer the whole time. But the colonel's solo survival story and those brutal mountains is even more incredible than what you can imagine. Let's step into the colonel's boots. This part is pure inspiration, and it shows why SEAR survival, evasion, resistance, escape training is worth every second and every penny that the U.S. military spends on it. After ejecting, the colonel hits the rocky ground hard, sustains injuries, but instantly switches into full evasion mode. He moves away from the burning wreckage as quickly as possible, using the steep terrain to break line of sight. With IRGC search parties, he climbs through those jagged 7,000-foot ridge lines under the cover of darkness, choosing rocky crevices and shale slopes that make tracking difficult for ground teams or dogs. He avoids open areas and villages as best he can, staying high, where patrols are less likely to move fast and capture him. From his perspective, it probably went something like this: the cold mountain air cut, deep ankle or leg throbbing from the landing, but SEAR kicks in immediately. Ditch the shoe and anything that could reflect light or make noise, then start moving uphill away from the crash site. Slow, deliberate, using every shadow and ridge line to stay hidden. Find a good crevice, settle in and activate the
Combat Survivor Evadé Locator Beacon.
no long voice calls that enemies could triangulate, just short encrypted data. Bursts via satellite that frequency hop and look just like noise to the enemy. Send preloaded messages: injured but mobile. Enemy active nearby. Request extraction window ASAP. That combat Survival radio, that's the silent lifeline. Boeing built an ejection proof. Keeps CENTCOM updated in real time without compromising the
Colonel S position.
So here's what the colonel likely did. Rationed his water. Ate some of the emergency food. Got to keep the energy levels high so you can stay mobile and keep moving fast to stay away from those IRGC patrols. But you also need to stay motionless for hours. When you hear those IRGC vehicles or voices echoing up from the valleys below, then relocate only when it's safe. Climb higher or shift to new cover to throw off the search. Bounty hunters, militias, IRGC special ops are out. They're trying to get you. Drones possibly. Scanning ridges. But trust your training, the sear, the deception. Operations that are going on behind the scenes to feed the enemy information that you've already been extracted. Nearly 48 hours of pure discipline. Minimal movement by day, careful. Navigation by night, conserving energy. While your body fights the pain and the cold. But this colonel knew he was never truly alone. The president, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Secretary of War, and other war fighters from his unit and from Special Operations Forces are out there ready to scoop him up when the time is right. As soon as the WSO confirmed that he was alive through the different techniques and tactics that you use for SEER, CENTCOM went into full go mode. Presidential Task Force spins up a massive joint special operations unit to go in and get the colonel. The prep was lightning fast but razor sharp. Intelligence briefs on IRGC movements, rehearsals on similar mountainous terrain at forward bases and contingency plans for everything from sand traps to heavy contact to IEDs, improvised explosive devices. On the ground, you had Air Force Special Warfare Pair, rescue men, the PJs that live by the motto so that others may live, teamed up with Navy SEALs, elite commandos from Delta Force and also Green Berets. In the air, the 160th SEAR Night Stalkers brought the MH-6S, those little birds. Also, you have HC-130J, Combat King tankers for refueling, and MC-130J Commando 2 transports that can land on rough strips deep in enemy territory and get everybody out, reports are saying. And also this video right here from inside of Iran is a sighting of AC-295W from the secretive Air Force Special Operations Command's 427th Special Operations Squadron flying at low altitude over Iran during the operation. This is a rare glimpse of the highly specialized platform supporting deep penetration missions. And then overhead, A-10 fighters with their GA-8 cannons, MQ-9 Reaper drones for eyes in the sky, plus surveillance and electronic warfare, aircraft jamming Iranian radars and comms. This was years of training and investment coming together in real time, but none of that prep would have mattered without the intense close quarter battle that erupted once the teams hit the ground, under the cover of darkness late on April 4th, stretching into the early morning hours of April 5th, 2026. The rescue package went in deep, straight into contested territory, south of Isfahan near missile bases, nuclear sites, and Iranian assets. Night Stalker helicopters inserted the Special Operations ground teams near the WSO's hide site in the mountains around Dehdasht and Black Mountain. Reapers and strike aircraft provided overwatch while the team linked up with the colonel in his hiding spot, stabilized him right there and started moving him out. But that's when Iranian forces, who had been hunting them relentlessly, closed in hard on the extraction site, triggering a massive firefight. U.S. Special Operations unleashed a high volume of heavy suppressive fire, fighting with everything they had so that others may live. Also, A-10C Thunderbolts up overhead rolled in with devastating, close air support while Little Birds added rockets and many gunfire. It was fierce and close quarters, and there's rumors of burned-out Little Bird wrecks at the crash site, showing exactly how hot the engagement got in the Dehdasht area. This was one of the deepest penetrations into defended Iranian territory in modern times. Iranian forces actively trying to stop the rescue, but warriors from the USA held the line. They protected the colonel and kept the fight under control. But after that firefight, the exfiltration brought its own edge-of-your-seat drama. The rescue force, now with the freed colonel, rendezvoused at the remote austere Ford airfield and Ford arming refueling point, just south of Isfahan. Multiple MC-130J Commando 2 transports landed inside enemy territory to pull everyone out, but 2 of the MC-130Js got bogged down in the soft sand, wheels sinking in with no safe way out. With Iranian forces closing in, there was zero time to waste. U.S. Special Operations teams rigged demolition charges and destroyed the aircraft in place, setting them ablaze to deny Iran any technology, wreckage, or propaganda win. Thick black smoke rose from the hulks and burned out. Little Birds were also left at the site. After their critical role in the fight, the call went out right away. 3 replacement aircraft came in. Maybe those 295 WS loaded the entire force, including the stabilized colonel, and exfiltrated everyone safely out of Iran and back to friendly airspace. Mission complete. No loose ends left behind, proving once again why America's military is the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. So from the
Colonelesse solo evasion perspective in
those brutal Zagros Mountains to the intense firefight and gritty exfil, this operation showcases exactly what makes the U.S. military unmatched. Elite teams executing their operations under fire, world-class aircraft and systems delivering results, and that ironclad American commitment to never leave a war fighter behind. The WSO sustained injuries but is now safe in friendly territory. So hats off to the rescue teams, so proud of all the different special operations forces and the special aviation units that made this happen, as well as the fighter pilots that were up overhead protecting this whole operation, the drone operators that were the eyes in the sky protecting this weapon systems operator. My hat goes off to all these exceptional warriors that were involved in this operation. What part of this rescue operation are you most fired up about? Let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear what you think. And then go ahead and follow me on X. Follow me on Instagram. I'm posting there pretty much every day. Click the link in the
description.
Join the Max Ready Room. Do priority replies to members in the live streams, and I'm pretty much doing live streams every day at this point. And then watch this next video that pops up right here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and follow now for latest Iran-US war